it time for illegal ham in the face? But bro, where's the banjo?
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Legal Ham to the Face. We have a special guest coming on with us here in a little bit. Mike Holzheimer from the NEO Sports Insiders is going to join us. We're going to talk a little bit of Cavs, a little bit of baseball, a lot of Browns because we had a lot of news break while we were off, well, kind of away from last Tuesday. We also got to, first off, get our sponsor out of the road. It's Harold in the Lake Erie APA. Get a hold of Harold Keel on Lake Erie APA Facebook page. If you guys ever want to play pool, have a good time. We just had a blast on Sunday. We got another match. I got to drive up from Coshocton. So Sunday's going to be a fun day.
Sunday fun day always.
Sunday fun day always is what we like to call it. But they have leagues throughout the week, and you can join in, have a great time. Other than that, that's all I got for that. But let's bring in the main cohorts here. Let's bring in Big Bry.
Hey, man.
What's going on, big fella? And my cousin, he's always here.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
All right, so boys, we got to quickly run through our normal spiel because we do have a special guest waiting for us. So I want to go through quickly our shout outs real quick, and I will go first. And I saw this on Facebook, and I just brought it up to Vinny. I got to shout out Vinny's brother-in-law and wife. They went to City Dogs of Cleveland and adopted a dog this weekend, Bri.
Awesome.
And I guess
this dog in the whole wide world.
I guess he just
I haven't met
loves
her
her
yet. I've only seen the pictures and stuff like that, and the way they were talking about it. She's like, she gets a little hyper, and then like she's perfectly calm. It's amazing. It's an amazing dog.
Pretty cool.
So, please go check out City Dogs. They're one of our favorites. We love them. They've been great to us. We support them and shows and live shows and fundraisers and everything else. We love everything they do for City Dogs. So please go check out City Dogs in Cleveland. Mm-hmm. Also, the 14th, they're having that cornhole tournament / tailgate with all the great food. We will be there. Brian and I finished second during the cornhole tournament last year, but we had some ringers with their own bags, which I mean, who brings their own bags to a fundraiser? But I mean, I guess if you want to be that guy, you be that. I mean, I don't have to bring my own pool cues to play pool. I can play with other pool cues, but you know, it's all right. I see how it is.
I had to do that last night.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I was over at Razzles. I was shooting in the league, filling in.
It's always fun when you're shooting with a different one that's crooked.
My stick just wasn't doing it. I was having a horrible run with it. So I went ahead and I just picked up a house cue.
It's amazing how much better it works, right?
So much better.
See, it's amazing how it works. All right, Brian, you got any shout outs this week, brother?
Yeah, I'll do a couple quick ones. And they go to the high school sports and the boys high school basketball, both Medina and Brunswick, made it to their district finals. Unfortunately, they both lost to some state powerhouses, St. Ed's and St. Ignatius. So we won't get into how the public schools and the private schools should be separated because one recruits and one is just homegrown talent. But let me shout them out. Medina and my cousin plays for Brunswick, so it was pretty cool to see them get as far as they did and just about knocked off Ignatius, but fell up a little short. So shout out to them and their great seasons.
All right, Vinny, your shout outs.
I'll shout out Razzles because I was out there, like I was saying yesterday, for filling in for the pool league. And where else? What else did I do this weekend? I don't even know.
Well, you played pool with me on Sunday, which that was a fun time for this guy.
That was a fun time overall, I have to admit.
I mean, it was for me. As Vinny rolls his eyes, Fatty got a little fired up over some things that were said, and rabbit ears came out, and something. I let it go. I was fine, but it was one of those ones that I was already teetering on that nice little level, and I just went the other way.
See,
I just went hard the other way, and I said, "All right, let's play pool." And they found out how
me, it's you.
I know it was amazing, but I wasn't mean about it though. I just chirped a couple of times at the peanut gallery. I mean, it happens. I mean, can't always call what you want, but we had
pool leagues are rough.
Huh?
Them pool leagues are rough. You gotta be ready to throw down at any minute, I hear.
It's not even throw down. I was laughing the entire time. They were getting pissed at me because I was laughing so hard.
See?
They're like, "Why are you laughing?" I'm like, "Because I think it's hilarious." So we had that. What else did you do? Did you go out to dinner this week?
Yeah, I did. I'm trying to think where we went. Though.
Did you go to Ma's?
Yeah, definitely went to Mom's.
What'd you have at Ma's?
What did Mom have?
Was it taco bake again? Because if it's that taco bake again,
no.
She's got to make
the same recipe twice.
Well, I'd hope
unless it's like pasta or something.
Okay,
but let's see. What you know what? We might have to bring on our special guest.
We might have to,
and he might be able to help me.
Well, on that note,
I know.
Let's bring on our special guest. He is from NEO Sports Insiders. It's Michael Holzheimer. What's going on, Mike?
Hey guys, how are you? Great to be with you again.
Hey, great.
And Vinny, for the record, it
yeah,
was chicken tenders and fettuccine Alfredo.
Yes, it was. That's right.
Oh,
I told him that when I picked him up.
It's amazing.
That is right.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Yeah.
We're going to come. Fat Boys are going to come crash a Ma's Sunday afternoon.
That's one of my favorites.
She's not going to know what to do. I don't even know if her steps can handle that much weight coming up. All right. So, Mike, you are here for our show. We're going to talk a whole bunch of Browns here a little bit later, some MLB strike. But before we do that, you already guessed the trivia, but I got to give it to Big Brian, see if he can get it. So let's get into our trivia. Oh, I caught Vinny off guard.
Yes,
I caught him off guard. Yes. I did. And our trivia is always brought to you by Papa V at Curb Appeal Landscaping. Get a hold of Papa V at curbappeal419.com. All right, Brian, you ready? We had a franchise tag happen for the Cleveland Browns. We had David Njoku on the franchise tag. They're working out a long-term deal with him. We will get into later how we feel about it. But I need from you the last Browns player and what year he was franchise tagged.
I was going to look this up and give it to you next week, but I didn't. So,
yes!
Good one.
Yes. So,
good one.
I'll give you a hint. It's in the 2000s.
Okay. All right. I think I got an answer here.
All right. All right. Just because Mike nailed it right on the head. Mike goes, hold on. And you were still in studio at the time. I'm like, no. He can still hear. Oh, okay. He's gone. And I was like, Brian, did you hear that? You're like, no. I'm like, thank you.
That's a lot of pressure.
I know.
We'll see what I can do.
Grab just a couple of comments here. Justin.
Yeah,
he went ahead and chimed in real quick.
He always has his bags.
He's always got his bags with him. And my mama chimed in too. She was saying a big pot of sauce it is there, Fatty.
Oh, I can't
We'll
wait.
have
Hi, dear.
Hi, Mama.
I'll bring bread. I'll bring bread, appetite, and well, we might have to. I would say belt, but there's no way I'm wearing a belt after that meal. We might need a little extensions. Sweatpants.
Listen,
Sweatpants. I'll bring
even-
sweatpants.
There you go.
even I have to show restraint because remember, afterwards, I still got to go shoot pool.
I know. There's been times at
So-
pool that you're just like, oh, it's so much. I get it.
Yeah.
If I had that, because I look at my wife, she goes, "You want anything for lunch?" I'm like, No, I'm good. I got to play pool later. I know what's happening afterwards. And by the way, Bri, I had the rallies tenders that are in the fry batter.
And
Those were good.
Amazing.
yeah, worth it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
It blew my mind. I was like, it took them a while to fry up, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
All right.
James says hello. How's it going, James?
All right. Are we doing the word of the day real quick?
Yeah, we can get that out of the way.
Quickly. Now, Mike, you know the word of the day, right? You've been a part of the word of the day.
I know of it. I have not been on the air when you guys have done it, but I know of it. I know
Well,
what you're doing.
you're in it on this one, and I got a sounder for Vinny finally.
An actual sounder now?
Nah, I'm giving you shit. I didn't do anything
yet. And you're going to hear it right now.
And boom, 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 boom. There it is. Look at that.
Oh, God.
Oh,
For the best man in the business.
Oh, boy. It gets better and better every week.
How can it be any worse? I mean, we've already hit rock bottom when we had a show with no audio.
All right, here is our word of the day.
Milieu.
Milieu.
What?
Milieu. That's actually a special word too, because there's not too many words out there that you see with 3 vowels in a row. Milieu is the word.
You got little definitions over there?
Sure do.
Oh boy.
So our definitions that we have for it is A, to generate pus. B, physical or social setting in which something occurs. C, concise or comprehensive. Or D, out of line, not straight.
Okay.
So, gives you a little something to think about.
What was C?
C was concise or comprehensive.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
The social setting or environment, social environment, social setting.
The social setting would be a good answer. So we're going to reveal that later on in the show.
Okay.
So hold on
Just
to
wanna
that,
weigh in.
and we'll see. We'll see what we got.
Tell me he gave it away, because if he did, that's amazing.
Listen, I can't say anything.
Yeah.
You know you can't get nothing.
Yourself.
No.
All right, well, let's get into the meat and potatoes of our show. Let's have some fun,
All
guys.
right.
Mike's here with us. He's been a multiple guest on our show. We love having him on. So we're just going to start. First off, let's get into the MLB and the mess that the hell's going on there quickly. They met again. We don't know what the hell's going on. Mike, do you have any clue what's going on?
I actually was chatting with Vince as well. Last update I had was they made this evening the deadline as far as any hopes of not canceling any more games, but they're still very far apart. It doesn't look very good. I heard you guys talk about the lockout on the other show, the last show, I guess, and I agree 100%. Baseball's got to move with the times and adapt, and fan bases are just going to go away. I mean, it's very difficult for the average fans like us who are paying the money we pay to get inside the ballpark, and they can't relate to arguing over $220 million versus $240 million, whatever it is. It's very difficult, and I just the owners want to be superior. The players want to be superior. Both want to struggle for power, and the fans wind up losing, as do some players. And it's just kind of sad that we're seeing this, especially after all the country and the baseball fans have been through as far as the pandemic. No fans. Now you get some fans. And, it's like here comes something else where, the people who matter, are not going to get to see the sport they love. And it's over this seemingly the same old stuff every year. And, I don't know. I just think that a lot is going on in baseball where I like to refer to the old adage, stop fixing something that's not broken. And I always harp on this. There was such a push to change the game, make it faster. There was nothing wrong with it, in my opinion. I mean, and if we went into the extra inning, guy on second base, no out rule, I'll run the whole show with that. I mean, I absolutely cannot understand the logic with that. And the 7-inning doubleheaders, I mean, that's high school, isn't it? I mean, and then a pitcher throwing a perfect game doesn't get credit for that. So
yeah,
there's so many other things that need to be addressed. And like I said, I love baseball because there is no clock. And I'm a purist, and I like strategy, and I like, but I also said to somebody the other day, it's, until there's a cap, there's going to be a problem, because you can be a Frankie Lindor, a Trout, whoever, Tatis Jr., and you can sign for $300 million. And the next day you fall down the basement steps, break your leg, you don't play for 2-3 years, you still get that money. And so that's where a lot of the problems are. And I hope that there's an answer. My thought is that somehow they're going to come to some kind of decision soon, because even though they may not want to admit it, they have to have the games, because they're probably going to lose more money than they think they are by not having it. So I just don't know when that's going to be, but we're already suffering because no spring training or limited. Opening day's gone. And that's always been a big thrill for every fan, opening day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, especially for us. Like, we joke around all the time. I mean, there's places around here like Razzles does an opening day bus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where you can ride the bus down, have a great day for opening day, get a bus right back to the bar, and just have a blast. I'm with you on like the purists of the sport, but also you have these guys don't even play the sport the way it's supposed to be played. Like, it's either home run or strikeout, or it's not. You don't have the generational hitters that you used to have. The guys that would lay down one down the line just to score a run instead of trying to pull one and hit a home run. I mean, these kids are just pull happy and they want to hit home runs. And something, it's awesome to see them hit home runs. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But I also still want to see a inning where you stack up like 8 runs in a row because everybody's actually hitting their stride and hit where they need to hit. So James chimed in a comment here. Brian, you'll get on this one too. Up to the point I could care less if they play. I want to have a season, but it's not worth all this crying. And a lot of fans are like that. I mean, Brian, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I was going to ask Mike, just at this point, what is the biggest issue between the players and the owners? Like, what are they the furthest apart? What's their main debating point between the two of them? Is there any chance at all for a salary cap? Maybe not this year, but down the road. Or is it maybe more likely that we're looking at like a cap floor that could also kind of benefit the Indians as well, or the Guardians?
Yeah, I don't see the salary cap happening, to your point, Brian, anytime soon. There may be some kind of alternative to that. I was just telling Fatty before we came on the air, there's so many issues, from the how the draft is constructed to the compensation for first-year players. There's a myriad of things, and they just don't seem to be close on any of them. They talk for hours, but there's no movement forward as far as getting this thing going. So, but I think the initial salaries and then the compensation, I think that's a big stumbling block. And I think I was trying to follow it today, and there's not a whole lot of information. It's just the same thing that just gets repeated.
Mm-hmm.
So, as usual, the fans are in the dark, and even some of the media, like myself, we're in the dark. But yeah, I really don't know. This was apparently coming, but nobody decided to talk until, well, your commissioner doesn't even come to the meetings until rather late in the party, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's
is he real commissioner? Come on, that guy's a
yeah.
joke.
He just has the title apparently.
Like, come on,
Nice.
you already know what you're doing. You're just walking up there and just take bullets. It's all right. Go ahead, buddy. Go ahead.
Well, like I said, and anybody who would endorse or come up with, that putting a guy on second base in extra innings with no outs, they got to be checked for vital signs, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, that's just ridiculous. But no, I don't. To Brian, to go back to the question, it's more so salary compensation, and then the draft, and as far as who gets that initial money based on where they go, and there's just all kinds of issues right now.
Right. Sure.
Well, Brian, do you want to run over to another team that's got a lot of issues going on right now?
Yeah. Let's hear it.
Your Cleveland Cavaliers have finally hit a speed bump. Jared Allen is injured. I saw news just break. I don't know how long he's out for. He's got a broken finger and something else. But you are now in DEFCON, what is it, 45 with injuries with the Cavs now. I mean, your backcourt is completely demolished, and you got, or front court, whatever court, the point guards demolished. One of the courts. There it is. I said it right. All right. Completely demolished, and now one of your big pieces is going down with an injury. So, Bri, how do you feel about Jared Allen going down with this injury right now?
It doesn't concern me a great deal. I think he can maybe even play a little bit. I don't expect him to miss a ton of time, but my concern continues to be with Garland's back, just because the back is so unpredictable, and you don't know if you can count on him for a full 7-game series, or if he's going to be questionable day to day, every single day throughout the series, or what. But he seems to be playing well. Guys are stepping up. Guys I don't know a whole lot about. They're stepping up. So, we kind of thought that maybe the Cavs would have a lull in the middle of the season, because nobody expected them to be as good as they have been this year. So you figured eventually you're going to run into some tough times, and you played some decent teams. It was nice to get a win the other night against the Raptors, but 76ers, we had that big lead, and then just kind of watched it slowly whittle away, and that's kind of what it's going to be in the playoffs. I think you're going to be playing some pretty good teams, and if they're healthy, you're going to struggle to keep up with them, but you just hope that that you're healthy enough to match them.
Mike, are you worried about this injury with Jared Allen?
I'm kind of on board with what Bryce said. I don't think it's a serious one that he can't come back from, but I will say this, that it is of concern only in the grand scheme of things, in terms of, this is a Cavalier team that I would put in the category of, and I know you can say this about a lot of teams, but more so this squad, with how they're put together, all the pieces have to be there. And when they are, you're going to see what we've been fortunate enough to watch this year. You're going to see surprising success in general. It's not really a team that can lose a couple guys and, still have all the pistons firing. Brian mentioned Garland, and if I recall correctly, I happened to watch that game where they kind of dominated the Milwaukee Bucks, the defending champs. That's the game he got hurt. He got really shoved right in the back, going under the basket. And that game was a while ago. So whatever he's got going on is taking its time to heal. And he without that extra burst of speed, he's not the same player. He can't do the things that we know he can do to help us win. So, but I just think that for the first time, I've been able to describe this Cavaliers team as just that. They are a team. They move the ball. They reverse the basketball. Guys off the ball cut hard to the basket. They screen. They roll to the basket. You don't get those lazy screens where a guy just stands there and then rolls out and waits for the ball to shoot the 18-footer. Guys are constantly moving, as opposed to what we used to see where somebody dribbles the ball for 23 seconds of the shot clock. And but no, this is a good squad. Fatty, you were talking about Evan Mobley. I mean, he's the real deal. I mean, this guy's got versatility written all over him. And turns out that was a really wise draft choice. And he's got a lot of respect for a rookie. He's getting a lot of respect from around the league and even the veterans who are on TV who played the game. So, and I think it all starts too with the Bickerstaff. I think he's been the right coach for the right team at the right time. He's old school, doesn't take a lot of nonsense, and he expects you to play hard. I kind of enjoyed something that a really good writer, and everybody knows Terry Pluto from the Cleveland area, outstanding writer. He had a really interesting observation that during that lull that you described at Fatty, he felt the players kind of got a little complacent and started to listen about how successful that they were. But then again, they got to understand that you haven't really accomplished anything yet. And that's where the experience factor comes into play. Brian, you mentioned that collapse in Philadelphia. Well, that's just experience. You got to know how to come back in a game. You also have to know how to play with a lead and play with a big lead. And that's just time and experience. But it's been fun to watch. And, I'm pretty sure Allen is going to come back strong. He's definitely a guy who, when he's in the middle, he alters the opposition's offense. He really does. He's that good.
So if Allen does miss some time, I mean, that means Kevin Love's got to step up and step in that role a little bit, right? I mean, he's got to get some extra minutes.
Yeah, I would think so. And again, he's got the experience to do that. But boy, has he been terrific in his role off the bench. I mean, his play has been stellar at times. And I think the young guys learn from him. So he's been a real plus, to be here and to stay here when a lot of people thought he wasn't going to stick around.
Well, and I kind of wanted to ship him off with a washer and dryer somewhere the way he last year, because I mean, we haven't seen this resurgent for it's like he actually enjoys playing basketball. Like we joked around about, the time where he just slapped the ball in bounds and they got a 3-pointer off of it. I was like, well, he's done. He's done right now. He just doesn't want to be here. So at that point in time, it was like, come on. Now he's actually engaged and into it. But I really do think that this team from here on out has got to shape up their defense. That's how they won a lot of these games, is their defense. Yep. And they're starting to get sloppy on their defense again. Yep. I think they need to tighten up their defense again and see what happens. But I mean, with this many injuries, how can you do it though?
Yeah, right. With Mobley, he's a tremendous talent, and we're all happy he's a Cavalier, but he's not the defensive player that Jared Allen is. So we will lose a little something there, right, down low defensively protecting the rim. But we're built to sustain an injury to our front court better than our back court as we stand right now, because we got Markkanen, we got Love, we got some bigger guys that can step in there and at least put forth a decent effort as our front court is starting to get healthier. But if we can get Karis LeVert back, I mean, I think he's maybe like a linchpin to hopefully take our offense to the next level. And defensively, he can help out and just kind of spell some of these other guys that, probably should be in the G League, really, if we were fully healthy.
Yeah.
Right. True.
I mean, do you see them getting into a play-in game? Like, is that where we're at now? Because I mean, we had high hopes of them actually getting an actual playoff series, but with the injuries and stuff, I mean, should we curb our expectations a little bit and just say, hey, let's get you to a play-in game and have some fun?
Well, for the obvious reason, the play-in game scares me and a lot of other people for the obvious reason. No, I still think, Fanny, that there's a legitimate shot to get in. There's time. Obviously, Allen back is just going to solidify that optimism. But I still think that they're one of the top teams in the East to get in the playoffs. So I'm going to say that they should get in. How far they go, again, that'll be up to all the pieces in place, and has the season progression allowed for them to get that experience they need, because as we know, that's a whole different environment.
Yeah.
And the window closes fast as far as mistakes that you can make.
Yeah. Ed in Columbus said, I think Allen being out might fire up Mobley, who kind of hit a rookie wall here for a couple of games. He actually, he has a little bit of a wall with scoring rebounds, but I mean, he's also a rookie. I mean, you're not expecting stellar games out of him every game, like certain other people. Like, you just can't have that.
I think for a rookie, he's farther along than most people thought. So
I thought so, because like I was telling Brian during the All-Star skills challenge or whatever the heck they did, I'm sitting here watching him chuck up threes, and I'm like, is he taller than Jared Allen now? Like, did he hit it gross? Like, what is going? Like, he's just chucking them up. I'm like, all right, I have not seen this kid enough. Then I got to start watching this kid more. I mean, it was fun to watch a guy out there just chucking up threes and just swish, and the way he plays too, because he does play with a passion.
And let's not forget that what our expectations were before the season started. We probably would have been happy with the play-in tournament before the season started. And then they got off to that hot start. They were in front of their skis a little bit, and they've kind of regressed a little bit back to the 6th or 7th seed. But if I asked you before the season started, hey, we take the 6th, 7th seed, in the playoffs and a chance to move on, I think we probably all would have taken that, and we all would love for them to at least get a full series in, because at this point, we, like Mike said, we just need experience. In one game, 2 games are not as good as maybe a full 7-game series or 6 games at least. So let's just hope to get that experience. This team is very young still, looking to move up and move forward, and they probably don't have championship aspirations at this point.
Right.
Well, boys, let's stop with the Cavs and get into the meat and potatoes of this show. I've been promising Brian this for 2 weeks because we've been pushing it back because we've had other stuff to talk about. But now it is all Browns free agency combine, and we tagged the chief. All right. So first off, let's go out with the news. Browns franchise tagged David Njoku for 1 year for I think it's like $10 million or something like that. So he will be here next year. They're working on a long-term contract. Rumors are it's a multi-year deal, $13 million per. That means he is paid more than Austin Hooper, who we just got last year for a very big contract also. So you got about $20 million tied up in tight ends right now. How do you guys feel about that? Let's go with Mike. Mike, how do you feel about that?
Well, I personally am glad that Njoku wants to be here, and obviously the Browns, kind of solidified their belief in him, and because I think that he's a heck of a target across the middle, and we really need that kind of a receiver, in my opinion, and his blocking, I believe, also got a lot better as the season progressed. I think that there's room for both these guys in the offensive scheme. Obviously, Stefanski is going to have to, do a little more work in that area. But I'm glad he's here. I mean, he's a big guy. He's strong, and we kind of don't really have that in the receiving core. I would say Jarvis Landry is, of course, strong, but we don't know where he's going to be. Is he going to be here? So I think that, getting him in terms of Njoku, I think it's a good move. And I just think that it gives Baker another proven target to throw to. And I'm sure we'll get into Baker in a few minutes, but I'll keep it with the tight ends for now. And yeah, I think both can work. And I think it was a move that the Browns should have made.
All right, Brian, what about you, bud?
Yeah, in a vacuum, I think it's a good move. And if you ask me, hey, you can have David Njoku, a talented, fast, strong tight end that'll be a matchup problem. I would be elated for that. And we're only paying him for the franchise tag, maybe 11 mil a year for 1 year. So that's not going to hurt too bad. But it sounds like they're going to keep Hooper around. So we'll have $20 million invested in 2 tight ends. And I start thinking about, well, we also spent a 4th-round draft pick on a tight end a couple years ago. I would think he would be ready by now to move up into that number 2 position. And we still have a lot of question marks on the outside with our wide receivers. And it seems like we're maybe focused on the line of scrimmage and 5 to 10 yards down the field. And the rest of the league is focused on hitting big plays 15, 20 yards downfield. So it gives me some concern, some pause, like, well, maybe we could have taken this money and put it towards a wide receiver, a game-breaking wide receiver that we don't have on the outside. I don't know if they're kind of trying to cater it to Baker's skill set to where, well, let's just be a ground and pound team. Let's matriculate the ball down the field and, we'll take the big shots when they come, but they don't come very often, whereas other teams are trying to be a little more aggressive to move the ball down the field. So I don't know. I guess I'll have to see how it all plays out. But for now, I need some more production out of the wide receivers. And I'm not looking to stay stagnant and do status quo and just copy and repeat from last year's offense to next year's offense. We need to be making improvements. And I know there's a lot of off season left, but like Mike said, we'll get to Baker. I wish the Browns would have been ultra aggressive trying to get Russell Wilson. I think they could have had him, but they seem to be content with running it back and hoping that it just gets better next year.
Okay. Brian, what cost would you run that back? All right. Did you not see I understand they gave up Drew Lock, and
sure,
we'll get into it now. They gave up Drew Lock.
Right.
They gave up a decent tight end. They gave up another guy. They gave up 2 first-rounders. They
2
gave
second-rounders.
2 second-rounders and a 5th for Russell Wilson and a 4th. Okay. At that point in time, do you think the Browns can afford to give up that many first-round draft picks? You actually think they're right there right now?
An elite
Wilson is
NFL. An elite NFL quarterback is the hardest thing to find in sports. And until you find an elite NFL quarterback, you're going to be searching. I mean, what glaring need, other than maybe wide receiver, which you could sign a free agent, other than wide receiver, what glaring need other than quarterback is there on this team? I don't see one.
Defensive line.
Oh, you could sign a Malik Jackson for 1 year. You could go out and you can find a Malik McDowell that's on the scrap heap. Those guys are pennies to a dollar for what a quarterback can bring your team.
I just say what
I've been waiting. This is the Browns' best team that they've had in 20 years. And what are we waiting on to go all in? When are we going to push the chips all in? We haven't done it for 20 years. Give up as many draft picks as they want. Let's go all in. Let's try to win a championship. Otherwise, You're going to be losing to the Russell Wilsons. You're going to be losing in the playoffs to Josh Allen. You're going to be losing to Patrick Mahomes every year. I mean, it's not good enough for me just to make it to the playoffs. I want to make a Super Bowl push because we have great players like Myles Garrett, like Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. We have one of the best offensive lines in the league. You know, it's not good enough for me just to make it to the playoffs.
Mike, what do you think?
Well, I certainly agree with Bry. You know, you don't want to get complacent. I mean, when the Browns made the playoffs and they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, you would have thought that was the building block to something bigger and better the following year. It didn't happen. And why didn't it? Well, I'm just going to try to summarize that column I wrote a while back about a lot of outside noise and what have you. But aside from that, I'm never going to debate with anybody that Baker Mayfield is an elite star quarterback. He's not. Is he the problem? I don't believe he is. And I think that there are enough pieces around him that this team can still win and get to the next level with him. And I remember pointing this out, and I don't know where you guys stand on this, but I got into a discussion with somebody about, well, unless you are an elite stud star, you're not going to take a team to the Super Bowl and win. And in my column, I reminded those people with that mindset, well, here are a few names to think about. Trent Dilfer, who won a Super Bowl with the Baltimore Ravens. Brad Johnson with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. John Gruden's Buccaneers, Super Bowl champs. Jeff Hostetler, New York Giants Super Bowl when Sims went down. None of those guys are elite. Okay, so it's possible. Would you rather have a Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers? Of course you would. But that's not the case. But because of the running attack and the top offensive line that Brian mentioned, this team can still succeed. And I just think as far as Baker is concerned, and he was hurt last year, there's no question about it. There's no question it bothered him. The offensive coordinator said as much when I did my story. And quite frankly, I don't think the Browns coaching staff handled that well at all. I think a lot of that goes on Stefanski. I don't think he had a really good coaching year, in my opinion. I think that at some point you got to say, look, I know you're a competitor. You want to play. Every pro wants to play, but you're not helping us right now. Some games, Baker could have sat out. The Detroit Lions game was one of them, okay? And tried to rest that shoulder as best he could for later in the season where the push was needed to get into the postseason, where anything can happen once you're in. But I'm willing to just make this year, and I believe Mayfield's going to be the quarterback. He seems to be rebounding from the surgery. According to GM Andrew Berry, his workouts are phenomenal. He's making great strides. So this is his make or break year. You want the money. Okay, well, you got to show us. And if a healthy Mayfield can do it, then fine. But if he can't, then I think, you got to look elsewhere. Now, will somebody else be available at that time? Who knows? But I just don't think that, it's all, I don't want to say his fault. I don't like that term. It's not all on his shoulder. He doesn't bear the entire responsibility. Fatty, to your point about defense, Mayfield did not give up 40-plus points to the LA Chargers, a game that he had enough to help them win. He didn't give up 45 unanswered points to the Mac Jones, not Tom Brady-led Patriots, Mac Jones-led Patriots. So there's other areas where this team can improve. But I don't think Mayfield is the problem. He's got to get better. He's got to get healthy, and then we'll see what happens. But definitely wide receiver in the draft to start.
Now, I'll probably contradict myself on this one. That was 2 games down the stretch. That defense played well enough for the Browns to win out those last 5 games.
Yeah.
So at that point in time, Brian, I understand where you're going with Russell Wilson. The only thing that The only thing that bothers me about it, and Vinny Brown, when was the last time, like this year, he was hurt? They didn't go to playoffs. There's a lot of drama with that, for one.
Sure.
Okay. Second of all, no trade clause. Would he actually want to come to Cleveland? That's
Right.
the other thing that you got to
Right.
factor in. He doesn't want to go east, like we talked about earlier with Mike. He doesn't want to come east. He went to West Side with Denver with John Elway because they have that prestige. All right. I'm sorry that we cannot get an Aaron Rodgers for $50 million a year. I'm sorry that we cannot get a Russell Wilson to come here. But what we do have right now is we got to shore up Denzel Ward, get that contract completely done. Done and over with. You already gave him his 5th year. I don't know what's taking so long on that one. You have got to find your stud wide receiver. And I'm not saying like a little bit of stud. I'm talking alpha dog stud wide receiver. And guess what? It might not be at 13. It might be later on in the rounds. I don't care where you find it. But you need that stud wide receiver because guess what? We got position receivers all across the board. Peoples-Jones position. Jarvis Landry position. The only one that can stretch the field is Schwartz, and he pulled a hamstring. All right? And when it comes to Njoku, I love this about Njoku. You want to know why? I don't see Austin Hooper being able to break free and go downfield for 25 yards. Austin Hooper is the one tight end that will get you 10 to 15 yards if you need it. Njoku's the one that can hit a big home run if it's there. Austin Hooper is not. Plus, Njoku, still 25 years old. He's still a kid.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. We're signing people that we need to sign that are young, that are part of this team, that have been in this culture, who he actually, if you see him on the sidelines, like behind the Building the Browns that Channel 5 does, seeing him talk to people, how he interacts, how he comes about it. It's different from when they drafted and he tried to get out of here. He wanted to trade. He was like, I don't want this. And I don't blame him. I mean, you brought in Austin Hooper on a big deal. You drafted another tight end. Well, what's it mean for me?
Right.
They finally realized that Njoku is the pathway and he's Baker's safety blanket right now. He has been Baker's safety blanket. Even though he got injured the 1 year, broke his wrist, he's pretty much out the rest of the year after that. At that point in time, like we're at a point, I understand that we can win now. We should win now. But at what cost do you want to win now, Bri? And yes, we're deprived. We're 20 some odd years in. We want to win. We want to win everything. We were not too many years ago from 1 and 35. Like it's not that long ago. Like we've turned a page. We're not the same old laughing stock Browns, Bri. We're not there. Yes, we have our problems. We have our dramas, but we're not 2 and 15, 4 and 12. We're not those Browns anymore.
Well, and that's what the Baker supporters will tell you. They'll say, "Hey, he's around 500. He'll keep you around 500. We're not 2 and whatever. We're not 1 and whatever. We have an average football team, which is for a lot of people, they're okay with that. And if that's you, God bless you. I wish that was me, but I want you to get better every year because my end goal is a championship. It's not just to be, picking 13 through 20 in the draft. And I'm not saying that you are. I'm just saying my aspirations are much higher because I want to see us get to a Super Bowl. I want to see us win a Super Bowl. I want to see us have sustained success. That doesn't mean necessarily having the best quarterback in the league, but I know how difficult it is to upgrade the quarterback position. You can't just elite quarterbacks, top 10 quarterbacks are just not available every single offseason. So when they do come available, if all you have to give up is a couple of draft picks and a decent tight end, I'd have been fine with trading 2 1s, 2 2s, and David Njoku for Russell Wilson. I mean, sign me up. But like you said, we'll hopefully find out in the weeks coming, like, just because we give them that package doesn't mean Russell Wilson will say, okay, yep, I'll go to Cleveland. I'm good. He might have nixed it. Even if the Browns gave up 7 first-round draft picks, he might have said, "Nope, I'm not going to Cleveland." So we don't know that, but
I think what they did is Seattle came up to him, said, "Hey, we're going to trade you. What teams can we trade you to? What teams would you allow a trade to go through?"
well,
And
he did
he said he wanted to be on the West Coast, everything else. So
he gave him like 4 or 5 teams, and Denver was not on that list though. I don't believe. I think he gave him like Dallas and maybe some other. I don't think Denver was on the list of teams that he wanted to go to. So I don't know what kind of bridges you'd have to cross or hurdles you have to get over to try to convince Russell Wilson to get to Cleveland. And maybe you never would have been able to. But I hope behind the scenes that Andrew Berry did everything he possibly could to try to get him, because he's an upgrade over what you have. He's a guy that has proven over his career that he can win the big games and the big moments. And at this point, we don't have that quarterback. And I know he's 33, I think, but he takes care of himself. So you could have him for maybe another 10 years. So, I mean, if you tell me if we could have got Russell Wilson for 10 years, I mean, just looking at this next season, we probably would have been a top 5 Super Bowl contender. Whereas where we're standing right now, standing pat, we're not even in the top 10, I don't think. And it hurts that he comes to the AFC because that's one more hurdle that we have to get over. But, I mean, our offense at this point is just kind of a mess. When your backup tight end is your leading receiver and, you're putting a bunch of money into your tight ends rather than, your receivers are trying to stretch the field. And, yeah, it's not all Baker's fault. I agree with Mike because you just can't put it on one guy. Kevin Stefanski definitely had a worse season in year 2 than he did in year 1. And hopefully he figures it out. And, hopefully Baker plays better. And, in the NFL, it's just taking a little step up to win you 2 or 3 more games. So we just have to get a little better, not rock the boat too much, I guess. But yeah, we got to do something to our offense. We can't just, like I said earlier, copy and paste it.
And
like
I was just going to say, and just getting back to Baker coming back healthier, he's going to have his chance, and that's what it's all about in the pros. Okay, you got to prove yourself, and we're going to see what he can do. And now, if he's having a really bad start and he's overthrowing guys, he's underthrowing guys, and everything is healthy, everything is right with the arm, the shoulder, it's all good, well then, the front office has to take a look at this. Yeah. But I'm willing to at least see, if we want to say the new or a healthier Baker Mayfield. Let's see what happens, because you got that running game, and should the Browns have run the football more in those close games? Maybe so, but you've got 2 of the great ones standing right behind you. The receiving core has got to improve, and the line is good when they're healthy. They're one of the best in the league. So you put a healthy quarterback there. Let's see what happens. But I'm not going to say that he's an elite all-star, because he's not. He is what he is, and he has shown the ability to go for the home run ball. But more or less, it's pound the ball and dink and doink across the way where Njoku comes in. But to your point also, Fed, I want to say he is a yards after the catch guy. I mean, he really can make some big plays after. We saw that was evident last season. So hopefully that he'll bring that to the table this year.
All right. So before we get off the Browns, we've had the combine. We all know, seen all the wide receivers, seen the defensive tackle run faster than quarterbacks, everything else that happened. It was crazy. So, Bri, I mean, obviously, wide receivers are a position of need, right? And if you had to draft a wide receiver out of this group at 13, which wide receiver would you draft?
Oh, gosh. It's still very early, and I say this maybe with little to no confidence, but I'm shoot for the stars guy, and not necessarily just draft the fastest receiver or anything like that. But I hear from a lot of people that if Jameson Williams didn't tear his ACL, he'd be the first receiver in the draft taken. So I'm patient. I can wait, 9, 10, 11 months. If you're telling me this guy's the best wide receiver, yeah, I don't see why I don't take him, because probably if he was fully healthy, he doesn't even make it to 13. So if we can get a little bit of a discount on a guy, I might as well take him. So I would say right now, where I'm at right now, I'd say Jameson Williams. I'm intrigued, obviously, by Trayvon Burks and his size. He didn't run super fast, but I'd like that big guy. It sounds like Mike Williams signed a big contract today, so we're not going to get him. The Buccaneers franchise tagged Chris Godwin, so we won't be getting him. So our options are kind of limited now, and we're kind of looking at the draft.
One guy got caught for gambling, suspended for a year. Can't
Right,
get
Ridley's out.
We won't get into that. We're close to the other. Mike, what about you? What are you looking for at 13?
I like Burks. He from Arkansas.
Yes.
Is that okay? I like him. I think he's going to be there. I know we've heard a lot of buzz that the one Ohio State receiver, Olave, he wants to play for his home team.
Oh yeah.
And Wilson Garrett, he wants to play with Mayfield. But I think I like Burks, and the defensive lineman from Georgia, Davis. There's a guy I might look at.
God, he's a big boy.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
He's fast.
Unbelievable.
I'm sitting there looking at that. I watched him run, and I went, I would have fell down after the first step and rolled about 5 yards and just said, nope, we're good. Guys, I didn't run again. I pulled something hard. And here's in Columbus, get Lake Travis alum Garrett Wilson because he played with Baker.
Was that right?
Yeah. So I mean, I get it. Like my biggest, there's just something that intrigues me about an Arkansas of all people wide receiver. Seeing the size, seeing everything else, but watching him play and seeing the stuff that he did. Now, granted, he played Alabama and did horrible, but man, he is just something special. It's like DK Metcalf. Like when they drafted DK Metcalf, you're like, what? Why are you drafting this guy? Like, I did not have him up here. He wasn't supposed to be here, and he turns out to be. I think this might be the Browns' DK Metcalf if they draft him. I think, but guess what? Combine, draft, everything, rolling dice. It's a crapshoot. It's a crapshoot no matter what. And honestly, I think the Browns are going to trade down at 13. They're either trading down or they're jumping into the top 10. Those are the only two moves I see them. I really do. Those are the only two moves I see them doing.
Well, if they like Wilson from Ohio State, he's projected at number 10 by Seattle. But then again, that was before the trade. So who knows what's going to happen there.
Right.
And, trading down, you don't have to trade down that far to get either a defensive, because this defensive end class is unreal. I mean, you can get a top tier defensive end at 20 or 22 and pick up a wide receiver in the second round or jump back in late first round and get a wide receiver. There's a lot of stuff that could happen this draft. I'm excited about this draft because for once, this draft isn't all over the board like it has been last few drafts. Like we could just draft a safety or a corner or this. We're honed in now on certain positions we need. There's no all around the board, best player available. There's certain positions we do need. And I think they're going to be hard and heavy. And don't be surprised if there is an offensive lineman taken a little bit later in the third round or fourth round. And did you guys see this Kelly kid from Southeast Louisiana, quarterback? 6'7", 250 pounds.
Oh,
ran like a 4.740. I was like,
"There's Show Boy."
he either played, I think he played at Georgia before he transferred out. But yeah, I was like, 6th round, I'll see you, bud. We're here. We're talking late draft picks. No, we're not doing that in this show.
I know we're all honed in on wide receiver in round 1, and that's where the sexy position is, and we're all going to be looking to that because, frankly, we need it until we maybe sign one in free agency. But yeah, you brought up two guys that really intrigue me, and their positions of need. You brought up Jordan Davis. I mean, a freak like that, we need a defensive tackle, and he just excites me with his size. That they put up, stats like he's bigger than Gronk, he's taller than Gronk, he weighs more than Jason Peters, he's faster than Patrick Mahomes. His 10-yard split was faster than Jarvis Landry, so I don't know how you don't get intrigued by that if you need a defensive tackle. And then the other one is Tyler Linderbaum from the center from Iowa. I think he's about as solid as a draft pick as you could have. I think he write him in for 8 to 10 Pro Bowls a year or for his career. And some people even say he might be the best player in the draft, but he's a center. So you're not going to take a center in the top 10. But with JC Treader, the uncertainty of his future, and Nick Harris having a decent first couple years, if we could get him and he could anchor our offensive line for the next decade, I think that's very intriguing to me.
I agree. I mean, you can never be too strong at the offensive line,
Sure.
Especially with what you've got. Those running backs, if you open up the holes, they're gonna find them. So you can never have enough offensive linemen. I agree with that. And well, after a March Madness one, I will be having my mock draft on NEO Sports. I'll keep you guys updated on that.
Can I sprinkle in a little bit of that? Can I sprinkle in a little bit of that mock draft?
Yeah.
Nobody from Michigan in the top 5.
It's not a realistic mock draft.
Oh, I saw his face.
2 guys. It'd be 2.
One for sure.
I know. All right, guys, we're here. We're going over. It doesn't matter. We're having fun. Let's get into our Fat Boy Tuesday.
And now it's time for Fat Boy Tuesday.
I brought Vinny back into this because we need to get into this. So, Mike, I told you what we're talking about for Fat Boy Tuesday. All right. My wife came up with this one, and I started laughing because the first one that she came up with was countries' foods that are rare, and would you eat them? There is some stuff in there that I wouldn't eat. So if I don't eat it, I know these two aren't even coming close to that thing. Like there was a duck fetus in there.
Wow.
Like they would crack open the egg and eat a duck fetus. I was like, yeah, it's not for our show, but maybe later on we'll bring it up. But for today, we are doing, would you eat the rarest foods? So the rarest foods in the world, we have Japanese Kobe beef. Would you guys eat Japanese Kobe beef?
Absolutely.
Vinny?
Kobe beef?
Yeah, it's like steak. Look at it.
I mean, I would try it. Sure.
No, it's the steak where they feed the cow beard, they massage it, and everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like
delicious.
Mike, you?
I would not. No.
You're not a beef guy?
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm more traditional. This category is kind of out of my comfort area.
Uh-oh.
It's about to get uncomfortable then. Here we go. Next one. Caviar. Almost caviar. All right. That's fish eggs for the people that don't know. Okay, so Mike is probably a hard no on fish eggs.
That'd be correct.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Brian, fish eggs?
Would I try it or will I order it? What are you asking?
Would you try it?
Yep, I would try it.
Vinny, fish eggs.
As long as you don't tell me what it is, I mean, I think I would try just about anything. But I mean, if I know what it is, yeah, my wife's right. No, I wouldn't.
There she is. Thank you, Ava. By the way, Ava, you made it into our shout outs. All right. Next one.
Yeah.
Dotsky Black Watermelon. Now, this watermelon is completely black on the outside. I'm showing video pictures here. Completely black on the inside, but it looks like a watermelon on the inside. Would you guys try? There's less than 100 that are harvested every year.
Wow.
So, would you try a black watermelon? It's fruit.
I would. If it looks like watermelon, heck yeah, I'll try it.
Yeah, it looks exactly like a watermelon.
Less than 100 a year? I feel
Uh-huh.
terrible not trying it. Turn it down.
All
Yeah.
right, so there's two.
I would try
Mike, would you try watermelon?
I'll go for that. I'll try watermelon.
All right, all right. Now here's where it gets weird.
Justin said he would try it.
Justin would try anything.
Well, that's probably true. He even said that it would be worth a try.
Let's
too.
see if you guys would try this. $600 a pound donkey cheese. Would you eat donkey cheese?
Would I have to buy it?
No, you wouldn't have to buy it.
Okay, just eat it.
Good question.
Would
I
you
would try
taste it? You would try it?
I would try it.
All right, Brian, would you try it?
Yep, for $600, I mean, I'd have to find out what made it so good.
What in the
All
world?
right, Mike,
can that smell
donkey
like?
cheese.
With Ritz crackers, yeah.
All right. There
Yep.
you go.
3 for 3.
All right. Here we go. I don't even know how to pronounce it. How do you pronounce that?
Ibicaro?
Yeah, Jamon and Bicaro. I think so. It's one of the salty meats that's a pork on your charcuterie board.
Oh,
It's almost like, let's see here. It's almost like salami.
Yeah,
sure.
I would try it for sure.
Do you like salami? I'm sorry, I'm
I
talking
do.
to Mike.
I like salami.
Okay.
Oh,
There you
Justin
go.
said no to that one.
Well, of course, he doesn't eat meat.
No.
Oh.
I do. I
White
just don't like-
white truffles. Mike, would you eat white truffles?
No, I would not. No.
You're not a mushroom guy.
I don't care for truffles.
Oh, okay.
I just try to-
Brian?
I try to stay away from truffle. I'm sorry.
You're all right.
I'm sorry.
No, God, no. Brian, truffle?
You know I'm not a mushroom guy, so I had to pass on that.
All right. Vinny, truffles.
So I actually, it was kind of funny. I was watching Billions, and I'm in only like season 3. I'm almost like halfway through, and in one of the episodes, you know, they were saying how expensive it was, and they were putting shavings, and she, you know, the wife that he was going to propose to was saying, "Oh yeah, you know, had like 20 ounces of these white truffles," and I was like, "What in the hell would that taste like?" I'm like, "I want to try it." So yeah, I think I would try it just,
All right.
just to try it.
Here's one for you. At a whopping $500 a kilogram. A kilogram.
Okay.
Kopi Luwak coffee.
Kopi Luwak.
Kopi Luwak coffee.
I know that coffee. I know that coffee from a movie, actually.
Uh-huh.
And no, I don't think I would.
I would. I love coffee. Yep.
Mike, you drink coffee?
I drink probably too much coffee, so I'm going to say yes.
All right, perfect. I'm going to skip the next one because you guys will not at all eat the next one. We're going to scroll through. Here we go. Now this one is, it's unreal with this one. Ruby Roman grapes. Okay.
Yes, Justin, it is. The bats eat the beans for Kopi Luwak.
Oh, you didn't tell me that.
Yes, the bats eat the beans and then they poop it out and then they simmer those beans and that's what you're drinking.
Is that guano? Don't they call that guano?
Guano's a little different. That's the if I'm not mistaken, the white bat's poop or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, they use it as like a paste.
Yeah,
and
it's the
stuff.
devil white bat from Ace
Yeah.
Ventura too.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
Yeah. Guano.
Ruby Roman grapes. Okay, would you? I mean,
Huh.
grapes. We'll all eat grapes, right?
Right.
Let me give you the price tag on these grapes.
Wow.
All right, 24 grapes. Somebody paid $11,000 for.
Wow.
That is $458 a grape.
Crazy.
What kind of grapes are these?
They're very sensitive grapes, and there's only a small number that are sold. We don't want the melon. What's the last one? Let's get to the last. Oh, here we go. No, go ahead.
The Kopi Luwai, Justin, was from the movie. I know somebody else knows this too. I got to think of it. Yeah, right. It was the one with Jack Nicholson, and Morgan Freeman. They were old guys growing up.
Bucket list.
Yeah. A bucket list.
Bucket list.
Bucket list. Yes, the bucket list. Yeah. So
The last one is, and I'm going to Samami black chicken. Now these are chickens that are dunked in a run-of-the-mill clucker. They're dunked in a vat of jet black paint before letting them run amok. So you're eating painted chickens.
I'm good.
You're
No,
good?
thank you.
No good? Oh, my Lord. Here is a blast from the past, Big Bry. Mr. Kevin
What do
Crocker.
you say, Kev?
What's going on, man? All right, so that's our Fat Boy Tuesday. My wife brought that up. I was like, it'd be fun to see if these guys would eat it. I'd probably eat everything on this list. I wouldn't care. There's a couple other truffles and melons that I didn't bring up to you guys, but at least you guys would eat the $11,000 grapes. So that's a bonus.
yeah, I'd try it for sure.
Yeah. I mean, you got to try it, right? All right, let's get into our top three, Vinny.
Yes, sir.
And our top three tonight is card and board games. Now, Brian, you came up with this. You and Ashley brainstormed
Okay.
this one. So give me your top three, because I'm getting ready to go to my dad's where we love to play cards. That's all we do is play cards. So I would like you to give me your top three card and board games. And we will go with Mike first. Mike, give me your top three card or board games.
Well, my top three board games would be Scrabble.
Love Scrabble.
I love
Mon-
Scrabble.
Yeah. Well, being a writer, I guess I have some advantage on
Yeah.
on some nights. On some nights. Monopoly.
Love
Oh boy. What else can I say? Oh shoot.
I put him on the spot.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Parcheesi.
Well, yeah. Let me go Parcheesi.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I like
Okay.
Parcheesi.
All right.
Parcheesi's good. So those are three: Parcheesi,
right.
Monopoly, and Scrabble.
Yeah.
All right, Vinny, your top three.
My top three.
Oh,
I
you
wrote
gotta get your list. I forgot.
Oh,
You gotta get your list.
I remember it, but it's nice to be able to see
All
it.
right.
My number three is Phase 10.
Okay. Oh,
Yep.
hope
Great
love
game.
that.
Yep. As long as it doesn't go too long.
Right. You know, it's good for big groups of people, stuff like that. Everybody's able to play and have a good time. If you have a smaller, about 6 people, is when it gets really, really interesting and good. Risk.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
I love
Uh-huh.
playing Risk.
Oh, right. Yeah.
My brother and I and my father, when he's in town, oh man, we love playing Risk. And number one, great 2-player game, 3-player game, cribbage. I love playing cribbage.
All right.
So, yep, 3 great
Never
games.
played.
All right, we'll go to the comments here. Justin said Cards Against Humanity,
Yes.
Sure.
Monopoly, and Texas Hold'em. There it is. Kevin, chess, checkers, and Axis and Allies.
Axis and Allies is another.
Yeah.
a
That's
great
a fun
one,
one.
too. Oh,
Yes.
wow. And yes, it's probably the game that he taught you, Ava. Did you teach her how to play?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Brian, give me your top 3.
Shoot. Okay. Well, I did all kind of board games. Just because my favorite card game is euchre, and I really don't have a second or third. But these really aren't like your typical board games like Monopoly. You put out a board, or sorry. So I just did like games that we play at parties and stuff like that. My number 1 or my number 3 would be a new one that we played called 5-Second Rule, which is kind of fun. You have a clock that's just 5 seconds. These marbles roll down. You only have 5 seconds to come up with answers, and it's kind of a quick thinking game. So I say you have 5 seconds to name a state capital or something like that. I don't know if have you heard of it or you played it?
No.
haven't.
I was thinking of the food game. 5-second rule when it hits the floor.
Well, yeah, that's where the name came from. I'm sure. I play that every single day, and it's more like a 30-second rule. But yeah, so we discovered that not too long ago. That's a fun one, 5-second rule. Next one is a game we play with a bunch of friends at a party called Wits and Wagers, which is it's almost like a betting game, where you all have these little erase boards, and they ask you, like, for example, one of the questions was the fastest speed an animal on Earth has ever gone. So you write down what you think, what your answer is, and then you all lay them out, and then you can bet on answers. Have you ever played that?
No. I was
So-
answering the question.
No, I'm not.
It's like 190 miles an hour by like a falcon or something, like diving down or something. That was one that I kind of remember, but that's a lot of fun because it's kind of a betting game and also like take your best guess. So that one's there, and then number 1, categories. It's a good time with a large group. You do need to have like. You can't just let everything pass though. You gotta put some thumbs down up there for people just trying to put out BS answers. So you gotta be a little tough, and it might ruffle some feathers, but that's a lot of fun.
Superheroes with the letter S.
Yeah, everyone's gonna put Superman,
There you go.
Spider-Man.
For that.
Can you come up with a 2, a double?
Secret Squirrel.
Secret
Squirrel.
That's right.
There you go.
He's a
There you
super-
go. You're catching on.
I have a feeling that he's cheated his way out of a lot of games.
Oh, I love
Like he looks like the guy on Scrabble with the dictionary in his hand going, no,
Wow.
that's not a word. That is not a word.
You gotta have that guy. You can't just let everything fly, otherwise people are gonna rack up points.
Hey, that's when you just start throwing out words to see if he'll catch you. Just be like, douche.
See,
okay.
I don't have to have that because a lot of times I play on the phone,
Okay.
so it automatically
Yeah.
rejects you.
You're probably gonna leave the party with a couple of enemies that you voted against.
Exactly.
All right, so we got Naked Twister by Justin too.
Yep.
Yes, we do
Sure.
play that sometimes.
Sure.
That's a great game, especially with couples. I don't know where I'm going. I'm tired. All right, so my top 3. Number 3 for me, Trivial Pursuit. I play a lot with my family. That way I can look dumb as a box of rocks until I get these sports questions. And then I will rock those out. That orange triangle is always coming home to that fat guy. Anything else, you might as well just chalk it up to nothing. Like, I was playing it with the kids one day. They're like, Dad, let's do geography. I'm like, how about no? So Trivial Pursuit. Bri, obviously my ultimate number one is Euchre with you. We don't get to play it anymore, but that's not my number one on this one. So my number two is a game that I have played that has pissed off everybody in the world. Shoots and Ladders.
Oh yeah.
I have played that with my kids, and you get all the way to the end and you catch that one shoot that shoots you all the way down to number 2 and you want to flip over that board.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Screw you, Shoots and Ladders.
Yep.
All right. My number one, it is a game that I play with my family, and I'm about to play it this weekend. I'm going to kick my sister's ass if she's still watching. We play Hosey. All right. So for anybody that does not know Hosey, it is a card game. It is double euchre, but you bid on what you can get.
Ooh.
So the smallest bid you can get is like, normally when we play, the smallest bid you can get is like 4 or 6. All right. If you get it, you win that 4 or 6 plus more. You lose it, you go back that amount of money. Plus, if you go a Hosey, you can get 2 cards from your partner as a loaner. And if you get all of it, you get 16 points.
Wow.
If you don't, you go back 16 points. The game's evil as shit.
Wow.
Who do you play to?
We normally play to, so if it's just 4 of us and we're playing with, because you can play 6 or 4. If it's just 4 of us, I think we play to 64.
Wow.
And then, because, I mean, you point yourself to death, and the lowest you can bid is 4.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of do it that way. And then, if you really want to piss off somebody, here's another game, a card game that you'll have to look up. Shanghai. In our family, Shanghai is the most bloodthirsty game that you can do. It has gotten to the point that I have an aunt who will not be named on this show, who has come in to a Shanghai game, said, "Hey, would you like to play?" And she looked at all of us, told us to fuck off, and left. It is evil as shit. So, you want a game where you can mess with people? That is the game. Go play some Shanghai. And I already see comments coming in about Shanghai with my sister. You're a little late on that one.
Oh, I don't see any.
Oh my god. All right, we gotta mute those. I gotta block her right now because she's cussing at me. All right. So we are here at the end of the show. All right, we gotta get my cousin Vinny's word of the day.
Yep.
I'm gonna go with Mike on that one. Whatever Mike said, I'm with.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I'm gonna cheat like that. I never
environment setting.
Environment setting.
Well,
right. You were saying B, Mike, and
yes,
Jared's gonna piggyback.
I'm piggybacking.
Big Bry.
You said B is what their answer is?
That's what they're answering is B.
Okay. Well, I was between B and C, so I'll just to be different, I'll go C.
Okay. So yeah, the answer is B.
What?
Dang.
Physical or social setting in which something occurs. Milieu. Let's see. C was
Concise.
yes. This was the word for C. Oh, jeez.
You turned the volume up.
I did. I turned the volume down. Yeah.
Yeah, still don't have it.
Compendious.
That was C. Compendious
Compendious
is the
I
word.
knew that.
Concise or comprehensive. So there we go.
All right. Well, we got to thank our special guest, Mike. Thank you for sticking around with us for an hour and 30 minutes.
Right.
I greatly
it was fun, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it when you guys send out the invite. I really appreciate it. I enjoy what you're doing. I listen to a lot of other shows, and I really applaud the 3 of you for doing a nice job. And I just like how the show flows, and I'm very happy to be a part of it and offer my insight and share my background. And as I said, I have a couple columns coming up for NEO Sports Insiders. Have your audience please check it out. They cover everything. We cover everything. And there will be another draft column from yours truly coming your way soon.
Very cool.
And when he sends those to me, they go straight normally to our Facebook page at Legal Ham in the Face. So you can catch them there also. We try to spread the wealth here. I'm trying to spread them to Twitter too, also, Mike. You know something? Mike, I can't thank you enough. We have so much fun with you, especially talking sports. It's amazing to have you on. We can't thank you enough for the time that you carved out to be with us for the entire show. Most time we get people for 10, 15, 20 minutes.
Right.
So thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I appreciate it. Anytime you guys want me to come on, you got it. I'm here. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thanks, Mike.
Go catch Mike at NEO Sports Insiders. You can find them on Twitter, Facebook. You can find them on our page too, where we get the columns out to you. So thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we are down to the three amigos. And what did Kevin say?
Kevin was-
Telestrations. I forgot about Telestrations.
Yeah.
That's a great game too.
Oh,
You kind of you draw a picture, and then they have to guess what that picture is, and then the next person draws it, and then the next person guesses. So you kind of see it's almost like a password with drawings.
Kevin,
Very
we miss
cool.
you, bud. We really do.
Yep.
We really do. We had some good times, bud. All right, so we're here at the end of the show. Guys, great show. God love Mike coming on with us. What a great time. And just to pick his brain a little bit about stuff, it's always fun. So, my boys, we ready for the trivia?
Trivia.
Oh,
Yep.
All right, I didn't forget it this time.
No, you didn't.
I thought you
almost-
did.
No.
I hit my finger on the button.
I know.
Oh, you did.
All right, so Bri, when was the last time the Browns used the franchise tag?
Man, there haven't been many. Jeez, this is hard. I came up with a couple names. And I narrowed it down to Kellen Winslow, but I don't think it was him. I'm going to say Sean Rogers, 2009.
I finally got Big Bri. Suck it.
What you give me the year and let's see if I can maybe guess the player.
Oh, yeah.
2011.
2011.
You're not going to get it. I'll get it for you. You ready for this?
Wow. Here, wait. Hold on.
No. Don't pull it up.
Give me the position. Give me the position.
No.
Come on.
I can't even bring up the position because it'll give it away.
It'll give it away?
Yeah.
I don't think it will. Give me the position.
Nope, I can't. It'll give away the.
Is it Rick James?
It's Rick James. The man. The myth. The strongest right leg in Cleveland. Oh,
Phil Dawson. Really?
Phil Dawson.
I remember them. I thought that in my mind that was a joke of us franchising a kicker. Like I thought like fans joked about it, but I didn't think it actually did. It really happen, huh?
2011, they franchised Phil Dawson for $3.82 million.
It's a good deal.
Good
deal
deal.
for the Browns.
How amazing is that? Just think about that. They franchise tagged a kicker. That's where we were at. They franchise tagged a kicker.
Yeah.
We need him back.
Still.
What's
I
Phil
swear.
doing now? He's coaching high school football in Texas, right? Call his ass
Something like
up. He's not Mort Anderson age yet. Get his ass in here with a single handlebar
Sure.
across the front of that
Sure.
helmet and let him go. Jeez. All right.
Oh. I thought that was a dream. I thought I dreamt that. I didn't think they actually did it.
Yes.
They actually franchised the kicker. Wow.
I
Well,
got it.
how quickly we forget how bad it used to be here for
Well, I know.
15 years.
All right, gentlemen. we're done. We're done. I got another show to do. I have got to go because my dog's got chocolate for the other show. You know what that means.
Yep.
I mean, we went chicken bone. By the way, she's still doing great from the chicken bone.
Yes, thank you very much.
Good.
So thank you, Bri. All right, so we're here at the end of the show. Bri, God bless him.
Yep. God bless you. God bless America.
Vinny, tell him good night.
Hey, have a great night, everybody.
I am that fat guy. Please go check us out on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. Please follow us, like us, subscribe. And we are definitely uncorked, unloaded, and out. By the way, we love our troops and first responders.
Yes.
See you.